All right, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. Sorry. I am Jules the Thought. Today is October the 9th, 2022, which is Sunday. This is a sad, terrible tale. And I generally stay away from these stories with the babies and small children going missing. Um, this one's got so many parallels to previous missing children. Monkey, it's very similar. Um, the the Summer Wells story, it comes to mind when I listen to the details of the story. Uh, there are Casey Anthony stands out to me as the biggest of all, where you just have these adults that don't really have much credibility through their own history. Not me making a judgment call, but the police themselves, the parents of the mother, Leilani Simon, they're all saying the same thing. They're pointing fingers in Leilani's direction, and the message is she is not trustworthy. She leaves havoc in her wake, and the story that Daniel is telling, it's messy. It's messy, and it's illogical, and it's irrational. So I have said previously, the stories that tend to attract me are the mysterious. Those are the stories that attract me. And with Summer Wells, I made a decision, um, because we know the story, and I know that this is an uncomfortable uh, thought for some people, but it's my opinion only, and my opinion is no more or less valid than anybody else's. But my opinion is with Summer, it's another one of those heartbreaking, devastating cases of poverty, rampant drug use, and just no hope for the future. That this family is part of this underclass, and they just don't see a way out of it. Maybe historically it's just a multi-generational problem of poverty and criminality and drug abuse, emotional, physical health problems. Um, but things are different for Quentin. Quentin Simon seemed his story doesn't look like Summer, in that it seemed like there were people in his life that had stepped up to the plate to save him, right? It in the case of Summer Wells, we have multiple generations of just chaos, that chaos that is facilitated by a lifestyle of drug abuse, uh, just out of control, unchecked mental health problems, and no hope for the future, because there was no one willing to step in. In Summer's case, not even CPS would step in. Those kids should have been removed from that environment long before the disaster happened with Summer. The signs were everywhere. With Casey Anthony's child, you had a single mother who was possibly antisocial, possibly maybe a bit of psychopathy, perhaps, maybe. But there were parents that were involved. There were parents that loved Kaylee and loved Casey, and they were trying to give them a chance. They were trying to give hope to not just for the baby, but for their daughter as well. And as I learn more about this case, it's not simply, I think, a case of drug abuse and child abuse and, oh, well, oopsie, we have another missing baby. It does appear, for all intent purposes, it does appear that there were adults in the house, that there were parents that were interested in what happened to the children, and maybe even to some extent to Leilani, the mother of Quentin Simon. The grandmother of Quentin is the mom of Leilani. Her name is Billie Joe Howell, and she's married to Thomas Howell. And they've got a beautiful house in what appears to be a fairly safe neighborhood. Both employed, both working. There's money. Obviously, the family, financially is safe. And we've learned now that Leilani has a trail of problems behind her. We haven't learned so much about Daniel. Now, Daniel is the boyfriend, the father of Quentin's baby sister that was just born a few months ago. Okay. There are 3 children in the family. There is a 3-year-old brother, and then there's Quentin, who's only a baby, 20 months old. This is a baby. And then you've got the baby sister, born sometime, maybe August. Let's see, this is October, maybe June, July, August, June or July probably, because they said the baby was a few months old. So Leilani has a history of problems, and she and Daniel and the 3 children, they had been welcomed into the home of Billie Joe and Thomas Howell. Now we can expect, just like with Debbie Collier, we can expect that Billie Joe and Thomas said, hey, we want to help. We want to get things on track here. There is drug use, but we'll give you a safe place to live. You guys need jobs. There can be no drugs, no alcohol. And let's see if we can, get you guys something to work toward for your future. So there was hope. Something we did not see in the Summerwells case. I have not yet been able to discern how long Leilani has been living in the home of her biological mother. I'm sure eventually that information will come out, but to now, we don't know. I have learned that Leilani is 20 years old. So she started having children when she's 17 years old. Okay. She just had the baby a couple of months ago, June or July, something like that. And it was she's on probation. We now have cops verifying that Leilani is on probation. And now we have the documents where Leilani is being evicted from the home of her biological mother and stepfather. The eviction was officially signed, and the clock started less than 1 month ago. Something happened, and Billie Joe Howell said, enough. We opened our home to you. We're here babysitting. She is the one who's paying for the babysitter for these children. I'm talking about the grandmother, Leilani's mom. Billie Joe pays for the babysitter. She's opened her home. She's opened her finances. She's working to support a man, 3 children, and a daughter who apparently has a serious drug problem, a long-standing drug problem. So less than 1 month ago, Billie Joe and Thomas pulled the trigger on this official eviction. They wanted them out, gone. Now, you and I know, we're older, we're wiser. When you're dealing with a child or grandchildren or the boyfriend of a child with drug problems, things of value go missing. Am I right or wrong? I have seen families, well, one moment. Sorry, I don't want to cough into the microphone. I have seen families who would not allow their adult children to come visit at their home because so often things had been stolen. And so in order to see their children who were addicted to drugs, they would meet them at a restaurant. They'd give them, a healthy meal, try to talk some sense into them, offer some rehabilitation, detox, whatever. And then ultimately the child would say, no, I like my life of drugs. And then they would disappear again for a while. But never would they allow the drug addicted child to come into their home because of the stolen items of value. So it seems like to me that just like Debbie Collier was dealing with the tertiary effects of children addicted to drugs, it does appear that this was happening. And the Howells had, I think, reading between the lines, I think the Howells had really gone to heroic lengths to give Leilani and possibly Daniel a foundation upon which they could grow their sobriety and build a home for their family. And clearly, if less than a month ago, they file formal eviction charges, these are legal documents saying you got to get out of here and you got to get out of here now because you are vandalizing our home. I would be willing to bet things were stolen as well. In addition to probably one of the rules was no drugs. And you've got a young woman, a 20-year-old woman who is capable of sleeping the entire day. What do you think? Is she on drugs? Is she using drugs? Of course she is. So unless there's something terribly wrong with you physically, you don't have the ability to sleep 24 hours. Your brain won't do that naturally. It requires a chemical introduction to get yourself to be that still and unmoving for that many hours. And yet we know, excuse me, we know that, let me see if I can pull up this picture. We know that Leilani, the mother of Quentin and the other 2 children, we know that Leilani was sleeping. LMOP QRS. Come on, Quentin. Where's your file? There it is. I don't want an MP4. I want photographs. Another story that comes to mind is Megan Boswell. I don't know if you guys have seen a parallel between what happened to Quentin or what happened to Megan Boswell and how things are unfolding with Quentin. But we know we know from the babysitter Diana, we know that Leilani does in fact spend the day sleeping while Billy Joe and her husband are off working. So not only does Billy Joe allow the children and the mother and the boyfriend, allow them to live in her beautiful home with her swimming pool and looks like at least 2 acres of land, maybe more. Not only does she allow them to live there and say, hey, get your act together, let's do better, you guys have children here to worry about. Not only does she do that, but while Billy Joe is out earning the money to pay Diana to babysit these 3 children, Leilani is sleeping all day. And Diana, in fact, told the cops that. So this is a this is a mess. And once again, we think about moms who are trying to help their children who are fighting potential drug addiction, and what becomes of them. So before you get too quick to pass judgment on Billy Joe and Thomas, stop to think about what you're really saying. If Leilani was continuing to keep her connections with the drug underworld, then how far do grandparents have to go to do the right thing? Do they have to be, do they all have to turn into Debbie Collier? Is that going to be the new standard for being a good grandparent or a good parent to your adult child? Is that you're willing to keep them in your life so that if they get involved with dangerous people, they steal drugs from dangerous people, they build up a drug ticket with dangerous people, and then you get to pay the price because your deadbeat drug addicted child or your sweet grandchild, because your drug addicted child won't pay the money or give back the drugs, that you have to give your life? Is that the new standard for being a good grandparent or a good parent? I don't think so. I think there's something to be learned here from this case coming so quickly on the heels of Debbie Collier, and what I think, my opinion about what may have transpired with Debbie Collier. There is question, same sort of thing that could have happened with Summer Wells, a potential drug bill that couldn't be paid, and so some innocent in the family had to pay the price. Or is this a Casey Anthony tale where Leilani didn't want to be bothered by the child? Leilani wanted to go out and party. Leilani wanted to sleep. Leilani wanted to do anything but take care of her children, and she had a fit of rage. I don't know. But let's listen to what these 2 grandparents have to say, and be gracious in your judgment of them. We know that they brought them into their home. They're working to put food on the table for this family. Billy Joe is paying the babysitter. At what point do 2 people have to put their lives on the line in order to be good grandparents?
Left right then. I got here about 3 o'clock yesterday,
and I got here about 3:30 in the morning.
It's been crazy. I mean, we don't know nothing. Whether it's the answers we want to hear or answers we don't want to hear, we just want to know something. My concern is him, and that's all it is. I mean, we concerned with his well-being.
I know everybody worked really hard yesterday, but
And
I want them to keep working hard.
And we appreciate everything that everybody has done, all the people that's come out and searched for him and all that. And he's always smiling. He's a happy kid. I mean, you get some kids but he always had a big smile on his face, and he was always happy.
Let me ask you, why are you getting emotional?
Because he's not here. He's just a baby. And I want him home. He's just a baby.
Okay, now I want you to look at that man's face and that woman. This is no Chris Watts sermon from the porch. These two people are torn up. She is begging people to keep looking. This man is fighting back tears because he's watching his wife grieve. And don't think, not for a minute, don't think that there's not some element of guilt. Did us trying to do the right thing, did we somehow trigger one of these people, Daniel or Leilani? Did we somehow trigger them acting out? It seems like there's a bit of confusion, though. It seems like there's a bit of confusion that perhaps the grandmother actually has legal custody of Quentin, but not the other two children. So is this payback? Because she had filed, these two adults had responsible, non-drug addicted adults, that they had drawn the line and they said, hey, we did this for you. These were the rules. You're not living by the rules. We can't do this. This is not okay. And so they said, you got to get out. And to have to file formal eviction notice tells me that they had already, I bet you anything, that they had asked Daniel to leave. This is just wild speculation on my part now. I'm not saying this because I have heard someone say it. This is me thinking about the reality of day-to-day living, parents dealing with adult children, that kind of thing. I bet you anything that they had told Daniel to leave. I bet they had said, you got to go, man. This is not working. And he refused. And that is where the legal eviction papers came from. I guarantee you. Or my speculation, my opinion, right? So was this a payback? Was this some kind of weird drug-induced, haha, I'll show you. You think you're going to kick us out, make us homeless, but you're going to keep one of the children here, the child that you like the best, but haha, joke's on you. I don't know. Let's keep listening.
Leilani's my daughter's 22. She hasn't always done the right thing.
And look at the man. Look at Thomas. He loves his wife. You can see it all over his face. He is watching her, and it has taken every bit of strength that he has to keep it together. These people are suffering in a way that I don't think I've really ever seen before in any of these missing people cases. I just haven't seen that. This looks authentic to me. This is what looks like real grief and panic to me.
Things, and sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't.
Mm.
And
So did you hear the grandma, Billy Joe? She's talking about her daughter, Leilani, and she says sometimes Leilani does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And they both hang their head. What do you think they are thinking?
I don't know what to think right now.
Mm.
I don't know what to believe
mean,
because
we-
I don't think anybody ever believes that this is going to happen to them. I don't know if I can trust her or if I don't.
Mm.
I mean,
I just know I'm hurting, and I want this baby
answers.
home.
We want
He's my
answers, and
baby.
we don't have answers.
Just
No,
thank
not
you
right
to
now.
everybody
Yeah,
that's helped,
thank you for everybody that's looked for him,
and please don't stop looking.
yeah,
Mm.
like I say, we want answers. We want to find him. That's the answer we want. Is somebody found him. You know, we're still hoping and praying, and we wish everybody to pray for him. Pray for us.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that is rough. That is very painful to watch. Mm. Okay. So so let's see. Leo says thinking Quentin is gone. Carol says, "Oh Pam, God love you and the children. So sorry to hear. I have been in this situation. I haven't seen my grandkids in 5 years. I'm so sorry, Pam. So sorry. And this, this is why I wanted to make this video, because I can see a potential here in this developing story. I can see people coming out in their virtuous, holier than thou stance. And I think we have to be realistic, right? You do no favors. Debbie Collier being an example, okay? Yes, Carol. Oh, Carol, that's such a good observation. So Carol is making the observation that Billy Joe's body language, her hand rubbing the back of her neck, is exactly what we saw from Nicole Atkinson when Shanann and the girls were missing. Remember? Yeah. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. That's what I said. This looks real, doesn't it? In the same way we watched Nicole Atkinson, it was real. You could see the turmoil, you could see the fear, the true concern juxtaposed against Chris Watts, who's just rocking. He's just more looking like a scared rabbit than, holy hell, what's happened to my family? Find them now, right? So watching Thomas and Billy Joe Howell, that's real. What we saw with Summer Wells' parents, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not accusing, but it didn't look like that deep reaction of find my children before I go crazy. Where is my child? Right? You didn't get that sense of urgency that you can clearly see both in Nicole Atkinson and now here. And so just like with Pam, we have a lot of adult children now that are dealing with massive drug problems. A lot of them. You guys just have no idea how many grandchildren are being raised by their grandparents because the kids are just zonked out on drugs. And now we've got these drugs that are coming in from China, and they are mind killing. They're drugs that destroy empathy. And so there's a great deal of violence. If you're a drug dealer, you're using methamphetamine, and someone walks out with, $300,000 worth of your product, you're going to make damn sure that you're going to make someone an example, and it's not going to bother you because the drugs have killed your own sense of empathy. It's no longer children being addicted to marijuana, not physiologically addicted, but using marijuana or drinking too much. Those are sort of the problems from 20 years ago that would land grandchildren living with grandparents. In today's world, our kids at a very young age are getting involved in drugs that put them into a scary, dark, evil underworld. And when you let those kids that have contact with these evil people, and I mean evil not from a metaphysical sense, but I mean evil from people that disregard human life, they're happier to torture you than they are to bring you a cup of coffee. You start letting your adult children who are intimately involved in that dark underworld, you start allowing them into your home, you have now put yourself in danger. And I think that Steve Collier has that story to tell. I think one day that story will come out. So is it possible I would have made a different decision? Possibly, but I'm a bit odd. I'm a strange woman. I admit it. I own it. I might be inclined to say, yes, let me have your kids. And no, you will have no idea where we live or what we will be doing, but I will keep your kids safe. And then I would disappear with those kids to keep all of us safe, right? So let's be very gentle. Let's be very careful about casting judgment or placing blame on these two grandparents. Don't do that. If you feel the urge to do that, take a minute, stop and think about Debbie Collier. Okay? Be very careful. All right. And you don't know what the like I said, you don't know if it was really that they wanted Daniel gone. Maybe he was abusive. Maybe he's coming in drunk, screaming and cussing and yelling at everybody. Obviously, there had things have been broken in the home. Maybe he's in a sense of rage. Maybe they wanted him out, but they never would have forced Leilani out, right? So be careful about being virtuous and be careful, right? But just be careful, but for the grace of God go I. Okay? All right, now then. And like I said, I think Steve and Debbie Collier have that story to tell, and I think Steve will tell her story. All right, now, so the babysitter, do I want to do that? Let's see, how long? We are 33 minutes in. Okay, so I found information by Mark Robertson, who's an investigative reporter. He put information out a couple of days ago, and there's a few things that are really interesting in his information, his stories that he's writing and putting out. So let me share this. Hold on. Here is, I'm on Google Maps, and this is actually Billy Joe Howell's home. Now, in the past, other cases, other stories, I've been able to find the home, and I did not put the video out. I did not put it out there. The reason that I'm doing this one is because it's all over the news. This is where I got this from, was from the news. So it's all over there anyway. So I would be willing to bet that they're not there, that they're out of the house, would be my guess. But I wanted to impress upon you guys the setting that we're talking about. There are going to be people that are going to be saying, well, how dare you say that the parents, that Leilani or Daniel, how dare you say that they did something to cause the disappearance or the demise of Quentin? The story is so similar to Chris Watts that it just makes me, or Barry Morphew, it just makes me shake my head. It's always like the same damn story, right? Like these guys have a playbook, it seems, that they're going by, and they're all reading the same book. And basically the story is that Billy Joe, it was out of state. She's working, earning a living so she can pay the babysitter of Leilani and Daniel's kids. And Leilani is sleeping because that's the only thing Leilani ever does is sleep. So we're not really sure, or this journalist was not really sure where Daniel, whether he actually went to work on Wednesday, the day that this child was reported missing, because he gave the impression that he was going to work, and the last time that he saw the Quentin was about 5:30 in the morning, and Quentin was in his pack and play. Now that's how detailed this guy is, okay? So Quentin was in the pack and play. Daniel's leaving 5:30 ostensibly to go to work. And there is a text message that is sent to Diana, the babysitter. And it's sometime between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. And Daniel sent the text. And Daniel says to Diana, hey, we don't need you today for babysitting. And so Diana thinks, okay, well, I'm not working today. And she does say later she knew that Billy Joe was out of town, but maybe Billy Joe came back early. So apparently they were not leaving the children alone with Leilani. Right? Okay. So then you get a 9 a.m. phone call, 911 call. And they're saying Quentin's gone. Now, Billy Joe is the one that makes that call. And she also calls Diana, the babysitter. I guess we could assume before the 911 call is made, because she calls Diana and she said, and it's getting close to 9 o'clock when she calls Diana, and she says, hey, do you have the children? Have you seen the children? And Diana's like, well, no, I didn't think I was working today. Daniel sent me a text and told me that y'all didn't need a babysitter today. And then shortly after, we get this phone call, this 911 call. Okay. It is interesting to me because Diana, the babysitter, later says that she saw Daniel driving through the neighborhood early morning. And this is just like in the case of Kylie Rodney, when you get Ronnie, remember Rando Ronnie? When you get Ronnie saying, oh, well, they saw Kylie earlier in the day and she was wasted. Okay, Rando Ronnie learned words matter. Words matter. Words are a reflection of the person's experience. If I see something happening at 5 a.m., I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, this afternoon I saw Drover catch a squirrel. My brain won't allow me to do that. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's uncomfortable. When you know what the truth is, you've experienced the truth, and then you intentionally put out a non-truth, the body is uncomfortable. That's why you can see rapid blinking, people clearing their throat. There's all kinds of tells, but regardless of what the particular tell is, it creates a sense of cognitive dissonance. So we don't naturally do it. It takes a lot of self-control to tell a blatant lie. So if I'm sitting here and I'm looking outside and I see Drover run over and catch a squirrel, and I'm watching the sun come up, I'm not going to be relaying the story later on to my mom. Oh, guess what? This afternoon, I saw Drover catch a squirrel. My brain won't do that. It will naturally say, this morning, watching the sunrise, or early today. So Diana, who has no skin in the game, she just loves these babies like Billy Joe and Thomas. She just wants to know what happened to them. And she does say, early this morning. And the 911 call didn't come in until 9 o'clock. How many of you would say 9 a.m. is early? So you have Daniel sending a text message about 5:30. I'm sorry, close to 6. He tells investigators he saw the baby in the crib or the pack and play or pack and go at 5:30. He sends the text after that to say, hey, we don't need you today. And then Diana sees him driving slowly through the neighborhood. It's a quote, driving slowly through the neighborhood early in the morning. Well, why is he driving slowly through the neighborhood early in the morning if he just left the baby safe and snug and warm in the baby's pack and play or pack and go? He's not already looking for that baby. He just left the baby. It appears to be the alarm sounds when Billy Joe gets home from her trip working out of town. When Billy Joe gets home and says to Leilani, where the hell is Quentin? And Leilani says Quentin is with his dad. And Billy Joe says, no, he's not with him. What are you talking about? And Leilani did not, she was confused. She was out of touch, meaning she was on something. So exactly, Daniel, why would you be driving slowly through the neighborhood as if you were looking for a small child? Or were you trying to figure out a way to dispose of something? Did he send the text saying, we don't need a babysitter today because he got home and something happened to Quentin overnight? And the mother didn't know where Quentin was. And he recognized, oh my God, we're in trouble here. And he was trying to buy time. I don't know. But I would have him hooked up to a lie detector test. Correct? Because clearly his story fails monumentally. Now, look at the property. Look at the size of the front yard. Pretty nice little street. An old established neighborhood. If you go through here and you look at the different dates of the Google, there's a photograph of a woman standing at the end of her driveway who she looks like she's 80 something years old. This is an old established neighborhood. It's not going to be a lot of party monsters going on, bad actor types. Now, here's one of the first things that I want to point out about this. What do you see beside Billy Joe Howell's house? A very large, very sturdy, very new privacy fence. Correct? Let's look right here. It's fenced. And it is fenced in the back. You can see where this has got the gate that closes shut. It looks like this is Thomas' house sitting in the back. So So I don't know, he was out there working or whatever. But in another picture, you can see where there's some chain link in the back, okay? But this is a very large piece of property. It's a very large piece of property that is fenced in. And one of these, they do have a swimming pool. You have to look at it from like bird's eye view. Go down here a little bit. One of these, you can clearly see the fencing in the back. I was able to get it to where you could see there's some chain link fence back here, but I can't. Okay, so they have a gate, the whole thing. So the reason that I'm pointing this out is at the very least, if Quentin, who is 20 months old, wrap your mind around that, 20 months old, okay? How do I want to do this? Hold on, let me get this for you. I'll talk among yourselves. Let's see. Okay, I'll show this in just a minute. Okay, so at the very least, if Quentin gets outside for whatever reason, let's go with the story as if it was all 100% correct, right? Thank you, Muffin Top, for kind of giving that trigger warning. Thank you. Let's say that the baby does get out for whatever reason, okay? The child is in an enclosed area. Now, I don't mean he's in prison. I'm willing to be devil's advocate here and say, okay, well, let's say the gate is wide open as we see it in Google Earth, okay? But let's just, I bet anything that they do not leave the gate open like that because of insurance problems, because of their swimming pool. I'd be willing to think the gate was closed, especially if Billy Joe is out of town. But playing devil's advocate, let's go ahead and say, no, the gate's wide open. He's a 20-month-old little kid, and I know children. Okay, this is an area of expertise, the developmental psychology. A 20-month-old is going to check in, right? And this is a process that a little kid does. When they begin to move away from the safe zone, they turn around and look at the safe zone and make sure, okay, I'm still okay. I can still see my mom, or I can still see my grandma, or whatever. So even if he gets out, it would be highly, highly unusual from a developmental perspective. It would be highly unusual that he would leave that fenced-in area. That is his established safe zone. That is where he goes out and he plays, right? Yeah, Miss Hatter, I did hear that there had been times where the kids had been outside in the front yard. I did see that. I agree with you about that. Poor Sage. Sage is about to have to give a bath and she's hiding. She looks real sad. It's okay, Sage. You'll be happy after it's all over. It's okay. It'll be warm water. Poor baby. Okay, sorry about that. She came over and she's looking so sad. You should see her. Everything is drooping. And she's just like looking at me like, really? Do I have to have a bath? Okay, so back on topic. Sorry about that. So it would be highly unusual for that child to walk through that fence alone. All right. Even though we do have a credible, wait, the babysitter was called off when whoever did this found out or realized they needed to make up a lie. Okay, so there are reports that the children have been seen close to the road, talking about the 3-year-old and Quentin, that they were seen in the front yard. But even in that situation, he would have been with the brothers, so they wouldn't really have been alone. Think about how many more kids you hear about that wandered off in the woods when it was 2 of them together, as opposed to a single child that wanders off in the woods alone. Think about it. So we're talking about a child's natural orientation to safety. And if you're with someone, you feel safer, right? So you're willing to wander further. So in this situation, I would be very surprised. Yes, Phoebe, that's exactly what I'm about to do. That's what I was pulling up. I would be incredibly surprised to know that 20-month-old wandered. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I don't think that the child walked out of that house. My opinion is no way a 20-month-old got up in the dark in the middle of the night and walked out of that house. No. But I'm playing devil's advocate, okay? I'm mods, can y'all get that? I'm playing devil's advocate here. So if Quentin did get up and walk outside, he's still not going out of that gate. He's not going, he won't go. Even me playing devil's advocate, I am certain that he will not walk out of that gate. Now, it would be a little bit different if the child walks out the front door, but I just don't. I don't think he did at all. Okay, now then. So let me share something else. Stop the screen. Present. Okay, now this video, it's been put up as early autism signs. Okay, I don't want to just go around showing someone's children, like family. Sometimes people put family videos up online. So I want to go ahead and use this because it's well established. It's a published piece and it's put out for educational purposes. So the parents signed a release to allow this, video. But I want you to look at this to see the physical acuity of an 18-month-old. Okay, a 20-month-old child's not much more advanced than 18 months. So just watch. And a child with autism is far more likely to wander away because they don't have that natural awareness of a prescribed safety zone. They don't have that established socio-emotional connection with the parent as a safe zone. They will follow breadcrumbs, what I call following breadcrumbs, where they go, one thing catches their interest and they approach it, and then something else catches their interest and they approach it. And so just like picking up breadcrumbs, they just eventually will wander off down a sidewalk or down into the woods with zero fear because they're following whatever's interesting to them. You're more likely to see that with a kid with that is on the spectrum than you are to see a neurotypical child who has that awareness of safety. All right, so let's just watch and see, what are they capable of doing physiologically?
Leo. 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 Hey. Leo. Would you like more? Leo, look. Leo. 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 Good job. Here, Leo. Put this one in there, too.
Notice how he's walking. We are talking about a baby. He is not the coordination has not developed. He can barely get up off of sitting on his bottom. And that doesn't have anything to do with autism. Right now he's watching the wheels move. That hyper focus on movement is that's very common. See how he's watching it move. See him on his tippy toes? That's also really common to see in autism. Proprioceptive awareness. So you see how he's not like walking here and there and busy. His busy play is not. It's repetitive because he's on the spectrum, but a child his age, they don't spend a lot. They won't walk great distances. They're focused on their finite area. So even if he had crawled out of the pack and play, I don't believe not for a minute that he would have taken off across the backyard. It's a ridiculous story. Let's see if I can find where he's walking around. He's walking a little bit there. He loves wheels, doesn't he? Sweet baby. Oh, he doesn't like the sound, poor thing. And that's why sometimes you see kids with autism that wear headphones, noise canceling headphones. Sensory wise, they're really uncomfortable at times by sound. And there he is with the wheels again. You see him? Look, this 20-month-old baby did not walk out of a house and disappear in a neighborhood without someone seeing him. He didn't. He's a beautiful kid, isn't he? Looks like he's in the doctor's office there. Spinning, spinning, spinning. He says, okay, time for bed. Good night, everybody. Oh, he's sleepy. Poor baby. Who wants to play that game again? Okay. And more wheels. Here he is outside having obsession with certain things that causes distraction and instant desire to watch, have, talk, or chase. Okay, there you see him moving. All right, you want to tell me a 20-month-old, seeing how this child is carrying his body, you want to tell me a 20-month-old wandered out of that enormous giant yard and went through all these other big yards and not a single person saw him. Look how he sort of falls forward on each foot. 20 months old is a baby. Okay, now point made. Did y'all see that? Okay, y'all saw it. Are we having a hard time blocking this person? Just block them. Don't wait. You don't have to put them on timeout or anything. Just block them. Let's see. Yeah, TC, that's the autism. Yep. Okay. Jules, will you post a picture of the type of playpen Quentin has? Actually, I have that right here. Are you hacking my system? Are you watching what I got up here, what I'm about to do? Where is it? Right here. Graco, pack, and play. There it is. So this is what the baby was sleeping in. right? That's what little Quentin is sleeping in as a bed. Is it true? What did Double Rainbows ask? Hold on. Is it true that children that are on the spectrum are drawn toward bodies of water if they're alone and out of the house? I'm going to disagree with that, Double Rainbows, as my training and experience. Um, and there are going to be haters that are going to say, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm considered, well, so a court qualified me as an expert in autism. So yes, I understand what I'm saying. I'm going to disagree a bit with this idea of children on the spectrum or adults, anybody on the spectrum being drawn towards bodies of water. The reason I'm going to take issue with that, Double Rainbows, is you got to remember that autism is a sensory problem, correct? Sometimes it's limited to sound. Sometimes it's visual. You'll see children or people that are on the spectrum that will kind of like pull at their eyelashes. They'll keep their fingers up over their eyes, and that's just a type of stimming. But the reason I bring this up is there are many, hear me, there are many kids and adults that are on the spectrum that cannot tolerate the feeling of water on their skin. They can't tolerate it. To be put into a shower is excruciating. It takes a lot of training, a lot of coping type development and you start out by putting them in a tub with just a very small amount of body temperature water, and then you raise it a centimeter, and you're calming the child as they're learning to adapt and accommodate it, but they never enjoy it. Like they never get to, because it's physically uncomfortable. All of the nerve endings that are being stimulated by the water, it's overwhelming and really uncomfortable. We also, one of the things that people on the spectrum battle with is their hair. It can be really a big problem with hair. It's uncomfortable to brush. And sometimes the parents don't get help early. Maybe they think the child's being lazy or the child just has poor hygiene, and they kind of let it go too long. Then they'll try to take the kids into a hairdresser, and it's just like this matted knot of just hair all over. And then I've actually seen kids that were sedated in order to go ahead and shave all the hair off and then let it grow out and keep it cut short so that it didn't require a lot of brushing and whatnot. So depending on the depth of disruption, how deep the autism is affecting the sensory experiences of the skin and whatnot, no, they can be highly aversive to water. So but at the same time I say that, if the child is a child who is fascinated by water, that they will spend a lot of time pouring one glass of water into another glass and just kind of pouring it back and forth, right? Then they may develop a fascination for water, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they would actually go into the water because they may not like how it feels. So I hope that answers your question. I know, Carol, it's hard to believe that we're looking at another one of these stories of a missing child. Thank you. I asked because chatters always say that in lives about missing children. Yeah, it's not true. And you can quote me on that, like I'm comfortable with that. So there are so many of them, Sub. It's so many. I did a video a couple of years ago, something like, where are our children? because of how many there. It's and when you compare how many missing children we have in the United States compared to other countries, it's just heartbreaking. I don't know where they're going. I don't know. Canceling the babysitter raised the alarm. That, yeah, absolutely. Alicia Marie. What a pretty name, Alicia Marie. Am I saying that right? Alicia Marie. That's a beautiful name. Usually it's druggies reacting and making horrible decisions, right? Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Okay. Fascinated with water. Yeah, I am. I'm going to tell you, I go and sit out on the pier, and it's sometimes the draw to jump in is just like you. I'll tell you where I really get that compulsion to get into the water, to jump in the water, is at Niagara Falls. Isn't that scary? So when I go to Niagara Falls and go to the river that's above the falls, it's the water is running so fast over these big rocks, and it's there's just a great deal of movement. There's an old boat out in the middle. It's really beautiful. And then you can see the falls. You can hear it, whatnot. That water that's tumbling like that, it just draws me. I want to get in it so bad and just like float down it like I'm floating the river. But yeah, it would be very bad in the end. It'd be a lot of fun in the beginning. All right. Yes. Babysitter named Diana. Thankfully, these parents are doing the right thing and not making excuses. I agree. Seeing the grandparents' video was so powerful, and you notice how you react. Like there's something inside of you that when you're faced with authentic emotion, that you actually have like this visceral kind of reaction. Your brain knows it when we see it. As compared to like Amber Heard on the witness stand. She told a nightmare tale. I'm talking about a nightmare. And yet, how many of us felt touched? Very few. It was usually men. That was the other thing, too. The men that sort of stood up and said, oh, you're horrible women for speaking out against Amber. She had this terrible experience. It was always the men. The women listened to her, and there was like, no, she's not telling a real thing. The way she's describing it, it's not real. That's not the way it is when it actually happens. Have you listened to the babysitter interview on the other channel last night? No. What was it on? She did an interview with the news, right? Let's see. You can give me the channel. I like to send people to other good videos. Let's see. Quentin Simon, babysitter, Diana interview. Oh, Ziggy. Oh, wow. How did Ziggy get that interview? Diana McCart. I didn't see how it happened. Thank you, Ziggy, for doing that. I'm definitely going to watch that. I saw the Only on 3 interview with the babysitter. This is the one that I watched. Hold on just a minute. And this was early on, like 4 days ago. I haven't watched any of a couple of the YouTube people, because there really hasn't been much up, right? Yeah, right here. but I'll definitely go to Ziggy's channel, and she's on another one too. I'll have to look at that again. But let's see what they say on the news. So here we go.
This morning played out with this family and the babysitter who was originally supposed to be at this home this morning. News 3 Brian Gallagher also here with me at this scene tonight with those details.
Thank you, Brett. Earlier tonight, I talked with the toddler's babysitter. She is sharing her concerns tonight. It's an interview you will only see on WSAV News 3.
I am been keeping Quentin and Zane for 6 months. I kept them yesterday, and they went home last night.
Diana McCarta says she babysits little Quentin and his siblings and was supposed to watch them this morning. She says she was confused as to why plans would change so suddenly.
I got a text this morning saying that they would not be here. I would not be babysitting them at 5:29, which was kind of odd because I have them even when she doesn't work.
30 minutes later, 6 a.m. was the last reported sighting of Quentin, according to police. Diana says other family members asked her where Quentin might be.
And then I get a text at 9 o'clock saying, have I seen Quentin? I immediately go to their house.
That's terrifying.
They didn't want that. So I've just been waiting around like everybody else.
Diana and other neighbors are shocked.
Did you hear that? She said that they did not want her helping to look. Oh my. Hey, Jeep thing. Yes, I am Jules of Thought. Welcome. It's a Jeep thing. I think I know that name. Where do I know that name from? Yeah, I changed my channel name. When the original name Jules of Thought had zero to do with true crime, and then I started doing a lot of true crime, and so I changed it to something more aligned with law enforcement legal issues. So welcome, Jeep thing. I remember you. Okay, so that's scary, right? That the babysitter said that that they did not want her to help. No, Catherine. Okay. Daniel texted the babysitter and said, we don't need you this morning. Billy Joe contacted the babysitter at 9 o'clock and said, do you have the kids? And then after that, there was a 911 call made. Isn't that what she just said? Did I hear that wrong? Let's go backwards. I think that's what she said. Let's listen again.
Thank you, Brett. Earlier tonight, I talked with the toddler's babysitter. She is sharing her concerns tonight. It's an interview you will only see on WSAV News 3.
I am been keeping Quentin and Zane for 6 months. I kept them yesterday, and they went home last night.
Diana McCarta says she babysits little Quentin and his siblings and was supposed to watch them this morning. She says she was confused as to why plans would change so suddenly.
I got a text this morning saying that they would not be here. I would not be babysitting them at 5:29, which was kind of odd because I have them even when she doesn't work.
30 minutes later, 6 a.m. was the last reported sighting of Quentin, according to police. Diana says other family members asked her where Quentin might be.
And then I get a text at 9 o'clock saying, have I seen Quentin? I immediately go to their house. I try to help them look. They didn't want that. So I've just been waiting around like everybody else.
Diana and other neighbors are shocked by the news and wonder what could have happened to little Quentin.
My heart is broken. I'm not his mother. I'm not his family, but I love him very much. And I just don't know what could happen. The police did a really good job of looking. And where does a 1-year-old go? They've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, that's what she said. She says clearly that they did not want her helping to look. But can we be fair? We don't know exactly who said don't help us. We don't know if it was Daniel. We don't know if it was Leilani, and we don't know if it was Thomas or Billy Joe. So we gotta, we did hear Billy Joe in that previous interview that I just played. We did hear Billy Joe say, thank you. We're so grateful for all that you've done so far looking, but please keep looking. Like she's pleading with people that are listening to the interview. She's pleading for everybody to look. So how much you want to bet that it was Leilani or Daniel saying, no, we don't need you to look in, just go on? Interesting. All right. So what else do we have? The fewer people in the house, the better. That's an excellent point, Mima. Grandmother accused the sitter of selling Quentin. Where did you hear that, Diane? I'm going to put a link up here. If somebody would like to come up and kind of tell me where you heard this information, I'd love to hear from you. Obviously, I know a lot of people are uncomfortable coming up on panel, but it's hard to type that much. So if you want to come up and tell us where you heard this information about Billy Joe accusing her of selling the baby, I would be interested to know. Listen to the sitter on Ziggy's channel. Grandma was in Illinois for work and had to drive home. Phoebe said something. Let me see what Phoebe said. Phoebe says, babysitter said they first called and said no need to babysit. Then later a call asking if they had seen Quentin. FBI has talked to Diana. She is 2 houses down, but motion detector on cameras did not go off. Motion. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I agree, Muffin Top. I don't have her number. No woman, no cry. I don't. I work a lot of hours during the week, and I don't really do a lot of collaboration with other creators. I would love to. There's a lot of creators I have a lot of respect for. I love A Balance. If you guys have not seen his channel, you should go over. He's covering the Debbie Collier case. He's doing such a great job. Okay, so here's some good information from AP. Thomas was out of town working and Billy Joe was in Illinois working. It took them both time to get home, so it was probably Leilani and Daniel that refused the help looking. Agreed. Absolutely. No, thank you, Double Rainbows. I appreciate your help. Thank you so much. And I'm always happy to answer those types of questions. Ziggy's coverage is a phone call between Diana McCarta and Ziggy. I wish I knew Ziggy. I'd ask her if I could play it. Yeah, that is really sweet of you, Double Rainbows. Thank you so much. Can we get Ziggy's channel link? If at the very least we could get the link and put it up for all the viewers, and then those people that haven't been to her channel, they can go over and listen to the interview. Could somebody do that for me? Do y'all know Ziggy? Do you listen to her channel? Babysitter said that Daniel said to her, we already looked. I'm going to tell you something. My 20-month-old baby goes missing in the middle of the night. We're 5 years later down the road. We're still going to be looking. Am I right or wrong? That's like Captain Sam Brown in Kylie Rodney case. Oh, you don't need to look here. Right here where people are reporting they saw the car drive into the water. No need to look here. We've already looked. Go look in other lakes, not here. Yeah, that looks real bad, Daniel. Oh no, is that right, Miss Hatter? That is so kind. Yeah, he's so smart, right? You just listen to him and you can just hear how intelligent he is. He's got a really great perspective on some of these cases. A lot of times his perspective sort of challenges what I'm thinking. It makes me kind of reassess, and I like that when that happens. I see is missing with these horrible details. I could not believe it, but I could feel it in the air. I live in Savannah. Do you really, Alicia? So, Alicia, are you familiar with this area that they live in? Like, is it a safe neighborhood? Or it it looks safe to me going through the Google Maps, but if you go on further down, it does look like it kind of goes more into like mobile homes. Mine too, TC, specifically Daniel. No Amber Alert. And the FBI was on the case in the second day. Is that right, Alicia? The second day. Get jiggy with it. Hey, Tootie, don't mess with my toot. Don't mess with my toot. Day 1, they were on the. I thought it was day 2. So there you go. Look safe. Pool next door. Kind of close. They checked. Yeah, even though there's that body of water, it's hard for me at 20 months. That would be highly suspect for that child to be comfortable to walk away. That would be very strange. Whoops, not the invite. Again, you're welcome to come up on panel if you want. I'll drop the link again. Paste. And while I'm sorry my voice is so scratchy. I'm so ready to be well. Here we go. Share. Okay. So I want to back all the way out of this. How do I get out of here? You can see I don't really use StreamYards very much. There we go. She can be taught. Okay. All right. So here's Buckhalter. Whoops. What did I do? There it is. Okay. So here's Buckhalter Road. I don't want to be on Street View anymore. Okay, this is what I'm looking for right here. Okay, so this is their property. This is Billy Joe's property right here. So she has a pool, right? And then they've got a huge lot, all this area right here, right? And then they've got a safety fence or privacy fence that's built here where there's an old trailer house right here. Sorry, I have spasmed. Now, what you're looking at is, number one, now it's fenced. I found a place that you could clearly see a chain link fence that's running across the back of their property. Okay. Because you've got another residential area over here. You see these these are houses here. So it's not like they own all this land back here. These are other houses right here. So they do have a chain link fence here, and then there's a motor home, a trailer that's right here behind a privacy fence. So number one, he's not going to get out of his backyard unless he walks through the gate. And I, for one, don't believe the gate would be left open. But playing devil's advocate, even if it were, it would be developmentally unlikely that he would walk out by himself as a 20-month-old. Okay, especially with a dirty, wet diaper on. There is, if you look, you see right here. And you've got a path. Y'all see this path here? Okay. You got a path that goes to the drainage ditch. So here's the house. See, in this picture, the gate's closed. See it right there? So here's their property. I think that's the chain link fence right there. Okay. And you've got other houses back over here. See them? Okay. So it's a closed lot. They're asking you to believe that he walked out of that lot, or then he either went out the front door. But if you follow out the front driveway and stay along this line here, it leads, see the path here? It leads to this drainage ditch. Now, right now, does it have water in it? I don't know. I have no idea. But it's close by, right? So in terms of if you want to be here's the trailer house. This is Billy Joe's property here. There's privacy fence here. Here's an old trailer house here. And there's another access path walking straight to the drainage ditch. So I don't believe, and you got to take note, look how deep that is. You see the depth of that wall? It's deep. So I don't believe, not for a minute, that this child walked all that way to that drainage ditch. You saw how difficult it is for a 20-month-old to walk even 5 feet across a room. There's no way they're going to travail that kind of landscape to get to that drainage ditch. Now, the drainage ditch is interesting being where it is, right? and if, I mean, I guess I could show you, but I also went this route and went up Garrard to here, and it's heavily wooded on the bridge that goes over the drainage ditch. Heavily wooded. If you were going to discard something, that would be an easy way to do it. Would be to toss it over right here. Oh no. Okay, sorry about that. Sage got finished with her bath and went straight outside and dug a hole in the mud. She's in trouble. And then it looks like the drainage ditch makes its way over here. So it's flowing here, here, here. And then I don't know where it goes from here. Drains off somewhere, doesn't it? Okay. So there's that. I personally don't think it's any, I think it's a nothing burger. I don't, the child's not going to walk over there. But if somebody's up to no good, there are places to discard something. I'm not going to voice it, but you know what I'm talking about. Here's another pond here. And somebody's got a pond. Yeah, there's a pond right there. All this is along Buckhalter Road. But I don't think that Daniel would have access to that. That's private property, so he wouldn't have access to that piece of water. It looks like he would have access to this right away. Somewhere along here, that's easily searched, right? Adventures with Purpose. If Adventures with Purpose would even help after the way that Lindsay and Truckee behaved. So there's, actions and words have consequences. While they jumped in to save and find your little girl, would they even be willing to try to help find Quentin? My guess is going to be no. Why would they? They've been demonized by the people of Truckee. All right. Do I see anything else? There's a nasty old trailer park. That doesn't look good, does it? Yeah, that looks bad. And it's right down the road. See, that's the big trailer park I was just looking at. Here's Buckhalter here. And then straight down. And then you're right here. Their house is right here. This one right here. Yeah, it's not. They're right by the road. U.S. National Guard. It's not good. They got a nice property, that's for sure. Or railroad tracks, maybe? It's an awful lot of place. That's a lot of area to search right there. Hmm. I don't know, y'all. That it's terrible. Stop sharing. Okay. Let's see what everybody's saying. Are y'all, what's the deal? Why can't we keep up with the weirdos here? All right. Could you imagine walking into a house where some crazy plotting is going on? Babysitter was reportedly told not to come, was a reason given. Carol, you would think the search dogs would have hit on the gate if he went out. Yeah, I agree. Did they have a bloodhound? If they're using a bloodhound and they didn't hit, that child didn't walk out of there. A bloodhound can find anything. 529. Yep. Yep. And notice they said she babysat late into the night. So essentially she's been raising those children for the past 6 months. Right. Absolutely, 2D. He has one initial different. Yeah. I hate the weirdos. I did hear that. I'm just wondering what time she dropped him off the day before. Yeah, I would like to know that too, Miss Hattie. They use dogs and horses and thermal imaging drone. Yeah, we know. How many times have we been through this, y'all? Yeah, the grandparents, there is a pool. Yes, Jenny. An in-ground pool, a large one. Yeah. We have been through this, right? How many times have we been through this? The child did not walk out of the house in the middle of the night. It did not happen. Yeah, it is sad. No woman, no cry. Okay, so did we ever get Ziggy's link? Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. Do we have? Let's see. Quentin Simon, babysitter interview. There's W Sav. There's Cinnamon Shogun. Where is Ziggy? Here it is. Interview Quentin Simon's babysitter. Here we are. Okay. Now, Plunder was looking for the 911 call. And Muffin Top, thank you. That is so sweet of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are such a big help, and really, I appreciate it. Okay, Critters has Ziggy's channel link up. I'm gonna play off of Ziggy's interview. I'm gonna play the 911 call because a lot of people, Plunder, who is an investigative journalist, hasn't been able to find the 911 call. So maybe if she, sees this, then it'll help her find it for her channel. So let's go ahead and play the 911 call. This is on Ziggy's channel. Ziggy is a YouTube creator. Please, because we're going to play this off of her video, please go to her channel, subscribe, watch her interview with Diana McCarta. It's the right thing to do. It's how YouTube survives, is by creators being respectful of one another and supporting each other, not calling each other idiots and names and being hateful to one another. Okay? All right. So please, when I end my live today, how about we all go to Ziggy's channel and watch the full interview together, and then we can talk about it a bit later. Okay? So here we go with the 911 call.
Dispatch to 200 units that's going out to the 620. All the subjects are on scene. This is possibly between a female and a father, child father. Subject is the man that complained to give him her child.
Dispatch chat on 7 Alpha 2, 7 Alpha 1, County West Sergeants. We have a signal 56, 535 Bocalta Road, 535 Bocalta Road. Complaint advised her 1-year-old son is missing. She woke up, her door was open. Advising he's unable to open the door. Think someone came in and took him. It's going to be a tan-skinned child with dark brown hair, green, blue eyes. Last seen at 6 a.m. this morning.
350 receipt.
This is Leilani, and her son is Hawaiian.
Any available unit they have on the west side, I need you to send them to Buckhalter Road, 530, so they can meet up with me.
9 Alpha 2, you can show me en route for Route 56.
Dispatch sergeant, so I've had a copy of Lookout on a Missing Juvenile. It's going to be on a Quentin Simon, 2 years of age, date of birth 1/8/2020. The white male, about 2 feet tall, weighing 34 pounds. Blonde hair, hazel eyes. Last seen in area 535 Bocalta Road around 6 o'clock this morning. Saw me wearing black pants with a Sesame Street t-shirt. Last seen inside the playpen inside of the home. Any units come in contact, hold and notify authority of Chatham 7 Alpha 2 at 1024. Dispatch available K9, available K9, respond on record. Available K9 on record.
Dispatch available K9 on Alpha 5. Any unit with a K9, we need it on record.
Agency with any available K9 unit, respond on record. Any agency, any available K9, please respond on record.
They were really on it, weren't they?
Call out for all the units that are in on this call, this 56, so we can get a 20 on everybody for right now.
Dispatch all County West units stand by for roll call. Chatham 7 Alpha 2. Copy. Chatham 7 Alpha 1. I copy 0505 Bocalta Road. Chatham 8 Alpha 1.
8 Alpha 1. I'm directly behind the house in the wood line.
Copy. Chatham 8 Alpha 2.
8 Alpha 2. We can get Buckhalter and Gerard along with 9 Alpha 3.
Copy. Chatham 9 Alpha 1.
I'm at 535 Buckhalter Road.
Copy. 1863.
535 Bocalta Road.
Copy. 1804 and 1808. Are y'all on scene yet?
Description listed. Complaint refused.
What? What?
Turn on Ogeechee. I'll be there in 5 minutes.
What did the complainant refuse?
1808 along with you.
1808. I just got on the veterans. I'm about 3 minutes out.
Good copy. All units accounted for. At 10:39.
So they were there within an hour and a half. Everyone was there.
Copy.
Chatham 317 to all units at 535 Buckhalter. As soon as the K9 gets here, I need everybody to stop moving. hold your positions, call out where you're at, and then we're going to start a track.
So by 10:39, they had the dogs there.
Marine 5.
Marine 5.
You want me to route to that buck halter 56.
Copy.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe.
True Crime with Eve had the 911, had all the calls. Here's a question. Is this the mother? Is this the picture of the mother? I've looked to try to find a picture of mom and I haven't been able to find one. All the pictures so far that I've seen have been pictures of Diana. But I don't think that's Diana, right? Okay, so You Are Too Mean says, yes, that is actually the mother. Diana's car got blocked in by law enforcement. Yeah, they said that the mother is Hawaiian. I found a picture of mom, baby, and grandma. Can you email that to me? You Are Too Mean. My email is foolsinsages@gmail.com. Can you email that picture? I haven't been able to find a picture of mom. Called 911 at 9:29, and the dogs were on scene by 10:39. That's pretty revealing, isn't it? It's fairly revealing. We all know. That's sad to say, but we know. Thank you, Tootie. Yeah, I wanted to see if I could find a picture of Leilani Simon. Yeah. And then I found this interesting story. Is it just coincidence that after trash gets picked up, 911 gets the call? Oh, that's so sad. Oh my gosh. Is that true, Kayla? Like, did they verify what time trash pickup was? Was it that day? And then I found this story that I did not remember hearing about. This happened back in June in, I believe it's Montana, where a 3-year-old went missing and he was basically gone in the woods alone for 48 hours. 48 hours. Missing 3-year-old boy from Montana spent 2 days alone in the wilderness before being found alive. Lincoln County Sheriff's Office identified the child as Riker Webb, who is in good spirits after being found on Sunday. According to police, Webb was last seen playing with his family dog outside his home Friday afternoon, which I'm sure the dog took off and Riker followed, right? That's how 2 kids are more likely to go missing than a single child, by literally wandering off. Dozens of people helped in the search around Bull Lake, south of Troy. On Saturday, Montana Air National Guard helicopters joined the effort to find Webb. It was extremely difficult to get additional air assets into the Bull Lake Valley due to very poor weather conditions, which consisted of rain, low visibility, and low ceiling. Code red alert went out to all neighbors, asking them to search their property. And then the next day, deputies responded to Pine Ridge Road off South Fork Bull River Road in Sanders County, and they found Webb. Authorities said he was healthy, although hungry, thirsty, and cold. So that's some happy news that, yes, our kids can go missing, but, you know,
Friday after
sometimes
playing with the family's dog in their
it's what
yard.
it is.
Rescuers found him on Sunday, just a few miles from where he disappeared. He was hungry and cold, but is okay. A 4-year-old boy has been found
a couple of miles from home. And then here is here's the current story in Georgia with Quentin Simon. Okay.
Feeling sluggish or
so
weighted
it's
down?
now
It could
been
be a
what,
sign that your
5?
digestive
Are we
system
at
isn't
5
working at
days?
its best. Taking Metamucil
No, I guess we're
every day can help.
I guess we're technically on
Metamucil
4
psyllium
days, aren't
gels
we?
to try.
Riker was only gone 48 hours. And with Quentin, we're now going on 5 days. So just a thought, could this boy child have been so I can't read that. I don't think he was wandering. I don't either. Yeah, I don't either. Okay. Quentin is much younger. Yeah, 20 months compared to 36 months. That's like night and day. And remember, Riker had a dog with him for warmth and you know, comfort and that kind of thing. Makes a huge difference. The low tonight will be 64. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. We got the link for Ziggy's channel. Or at least I had it. Here it is. So let me drop the video. Copy. I am going to end this live. Paste. I'm going to end this live and I am going to go right to that video right there that I just dropped in the chat. Because this is an interview that was done on Facebook with the Diana, the babysitter. And she's really the last one that saw Quentin that is really trustworthy. Right? Okay. All right, people. Y'all have a wonderful Sunday and take care of yourselves. And please go to Ziggy's channel, subscribe, and let's listen to this interview because that makes our future conversations about Quentin even all the more rich and a lot of depth and a lot of comprehension. Okay? All right. Y'all are awesome. See ya at Ziggy's channel. All right. You guys have... Oh, I didn't do my little spiel. Please, if you have not already, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. If you've already subscribed, then how about a thumbs up? And other than that, have a great Sunday and let's go to Ziggy's channel. Hey, go to Ziggy's channel. Bye.